Unfortunately, many retirees who consider themselves wealthy are actually poorer than they think. In today's video, we're going to break down the differences in behavior between rich and poor retirees so you can figure out which one you are. And I know these differences because I have spent many years in the financial industry helping clients identify the retirement mistakes most retirees don't know they're making. The truth is, the retirement mistakes that drain your wealth are easily avoidable. But for a lot of retirees, the confusing advice you hear online makes it difficult to know if you are doing the right thing. So in this video, I'm going to break down the key differences between being rich and poor and the mistakes to avoid and how to avoid them. So let's get into mistake number one. But before we begin, I'd like to clarify the distinction between being rich and being wealthy. While there are many interpretations, I prefer to keep it straightforward. Being wealthy means that your investment income alone allows you to do whatever you want, whenever you want, and can handle major challenges like a health crisis without having to dip into the principal of your investments. There's no set amount for this as it varies based on individual desires. On the other hand, being rich is more of a temporary state, where a high current income and substantial assets are required to maintain your lifestyle. If your income or assets were to change, you wouldn't be able to sustain that lifestyle. In essence, the difference lies in the ability to maintain your lifestyle without active work and while preserving your portfolio. Just because someone is rich now doesn't mean they'll stay that way. They could eventually deplete their assets and unfortunately end up financially poor. This brings us to one of the biggest mistakes retirees make: continuing to live a lifestyle that doesn't match the assets they've saved for retirement. Many of these habits were formed during the working years when they were earning a strong income. I often see this when people are driving luxury cars and living in expensive homes, purchases that they could afford while working. But once the income stops, these payments remain and their assets get depleted faster than they realize. For example, those $1,400 monthly payments on 2 luxury cars suddenly become a burden. The issue extends beyond just the big ticket items. It creeps into the smaller things too: the daily coffee runs, impulsive Amazon buys, or regularly spoiling the grandkids. It's not the little things alone that are draining their savings, it's the combination of those small expenses with the larger ones that worsen the problem. In retirement, every dollar spent is no longer working for you. It's no longer growing or generating dividends. Wealthy individuals have enough assets that their dividends and growth cover all their expenses. On the other hand, people who act rich but aren't truly wealthy deplete their assets to maintain their lifestyle. Here's the tricky part. These people often appear rich, driving nice cars, living in fancy homes, traveling frequently, and sharing it all on social media. But don't be fooled by appearances. Many are secretly anxious about running out of money, or worse, they're unaware and will eventually find themselves broke, blindsided because they never paid attention to the details. So what are the early warning signs that you might be heading for trouble? One major sign is if you're dipping into your savings more often than expected, or if your credit card balances are steadily increasing month after month. But the biggest red flag is not knowing your average spending at all. A general rule of thumb for entering into retirement is that you need to have 25 times your annual savings. For example, if you spend $100,000 per year, you should aim to have $2.5 million saved. I prefer emphasizing this over the 4% rule, even though they're essentially the same concept. The 4% rule doesn't necessarily encourage changes in spending habits. However, when you focus on having 25 times your spending saved, it gives you the freedom to maintain your lifestyle without needing to make adjustments. Now, why does not knowing this lead to someone losing their wealth? Psychologically, it's easy to fall into that trap of thinking, I've saved my entire life, I deserve to splurge a little. And you do, but the key is balance. The difference between rich and poor retirees often comes down to this balance. Rich retirees tend to be more disciplined about tracking and controlling their spending so they can continue to have their assets work for them. So how can you avoid this wealth draining mistake? Here are a few strategies. Number 1, create a detailed retirement budget and stick to it. This is crucial. Number 2, use a budgeting app or spreadsheets to track every expense, no matter how small they are. My practice has an app that is available to all my clients where we review expenses as needed. Number 3, review your spending regularly. This is monthly or even weekly. Number 4, consider working with a financial advisor who specializes in retirement planning. Number 5, set spending limits for different categories and stick to them. Number 6, look for ways to enjoy your retirement that doesn't cost money. There are plenty out there, and here are a few you could do that don't cost any money. You can explore state parks. Many offer free admission to seniors. For example, New York and California do, and chances are your state does as well. Even better, go with a friend and make it more enjoyable. You can also get books for free from the library. I personally use the Libby app, which gives me free access to popular audiobooks. Another option is to volunteer at an organization you're passionate about, which is a wonderful way to give back and meet new friends who share your interests. Joining a community club focused on hobbies you enjoy like gardening is another great way to stay active and engaged. As you can see, there are plenty of ways to enjoy retirement without having to overspend or deplete your assets more than necessary. Let's dive into another common mistake that some wealthy retirees make, which can lead to financial trouble: helping their adult children way too much. This is a sensitive issue though, as it involves a lot of nuance and may strike a nerve for some. You've been supporting your children throughout their entire lives, putting them through school, helping them buy their first car, and now, even though they're adults with good income, you continue to give them financial help. They might be driving luxury cars but struggling with credit card debt, and they come to you for help because they can't manage their bills. But in reality, they often know you'll step in to bail them out. I've seen this happen many times, and while it's understandable, parents always want the best for their children, it can come at the cost of your own retirement. Your child will continue to earn income and have the ability to save in the future, but if you're retired, your financial resources are finite. Once your money is gone, it's gone. This is especially tricky for wealthy retirees who feel like they have enough to help, but without proper planning, it's easy to unintentionally deplete your assets at the wrong time. I've seen clients spend the majority of their money on their children, putting down large down payments on homes, paying off credit card debts, or contributing to college saving plans while their children continue to live lavishly, driving nice cars and spending $300 on nights out at restaurants. I've had these conversations firsthand. This doesn't mean you can't help your children. It just means you need to be thoughtful. Being rich now doesn't guarantee you'll stay that way if you're constantly spending down your assets. So what can you do instead of simply giving them money? Consider sharing the financial knowledge that helped you build your wealth. You've been watching financial videos. Why not send them a few on budgeting? Or introduce them to your financial advisor so they can get the guidance they need to secure their financial future. This way, you both safeguard your wealth, ensuring it won't be squandered by the next generation. The best way to start is to start young with financial education. I have worked with my clients' high school aged kids in just developing the right mindset for how to handle money. Now, here's the thing. This video is truly only scratching the surface and only a couple examples. The world of retiring is a complex concept with risks and strategies far beyond what we could cover today. If you want a team of professionals to analyze your situation and create an optimal plan completely tailored to you, click on the first link in the description. It will take you to a page where you can book a completely free consultation with me, where we can begin to help you build the retirement of your dreams.